Hello, I'd like to talk to you about coping, or more accurately, not coping. You may have heard it said that sorry seems to be the hardest word, but in the tough, results-driven world of business and responsibility, the hardest statement seems to be, I'm not coping. It seems like the last thing anyone wants to say or hear. It is an admission of failure, of not being good enough, of wasting yours and everyone else's time, and most painfully, it suggests worthlessness. Often, we dare not admit it. Unfortunately, if you are genuinely not coping, you are left between a rock and a hard place. Many people have absolutely no idea what to do about it. They don't want to share with family, friends and colleagues in case the word gets out and it harms their career. And they don't want to take a chance on a stranger. So what often happens is that people just struggle on, hoping that the problem goes away. It doesn't. It gets worse. And eventually, they break down. I have seen this phenomenon repeat itself often, particularly in my experience of being a supply teacher. I had no problem getting long-term supply work. I was relieving teachers who were on long-term sick leave because of stress. I have seen some teachers have their health completely ruined beyond repair by that job. But teaching is just a particularly bad example of something that goes on in all walks of life. I know, because I've been there. On more than one occasion in my life, I have been utterly bereft of the ability to cope, and have had to be helped. Much later, though, this personal experience of not coping has been invaluable in my work as a therapist, as every week I see desperate people from all walks of life who have turned to me as a last resort. It takes a lot for someone to admit that they're not coping, because it's so frowned on, or apparently frowned on. The reality is that often people really do understand, and even when they don't, it's not because there's anything wrong with you. It's because what's being asked of you is genuinely tough. You are not imagining it. Unfortunately, you often find yourself in a culture where it's all about your performance and how you deal with the problem, and not much account is taken of how hard your situation is. You are not alone. There are plenty of others out there not coping like you. But like you, they're all suffering in silence on their own. There is no society of non-copers you can go to. So what do? The answer is not easy, but it is very clear. You need to go to someone somewhere and say that dreaded phrase, the one you have known for so long, but dared not say, I'm not coping. Many such people have ended up at my door, and many more are welcome. You see, I don't tell anyone, and no one need know that you've even been. And everyone who has walked into my consulting room defeated with head low has walked out with head high after a few sessions. But please, for your own sake, and particularly if your life affects others like a partner or children, do something. Don't wait for it to go away. There is no way out, only a way through. Go to someone, take the plunge, and say that terrible phrase. Rather than being the beginning of the end, it's often where your life turns a corner. It's a choice between a risk and a certain breakdown. So there is not really any choice at all, is there? If you know you are coping, great. If you know you're not coping, don't wait a moment longer. It's time to reach out. Thank you for listening.